Hi guys, welcome back to Mysteries channel. Thank you for clicking on my video. You're very much appreciated. Okay, so on my last video, I kind of cut it short because I wanted to do this video separately. The last video was about Adapa, and today's video is about the beginning of the mystery schools. Are they related to the Ashapu? What are they? When did they begin? What did they teach? Are they related to the ones who claim enlightenment today? And are they related or connected to nefarious organizations trying to spin off different things in the background of society? And if so, how? All right, so let's just start. What are they? According to John Anthony West, the term mystery school comes directly from ancient Egypt and is not referred to a specific time or place in ancient Egypt, but the timeless secret teachings passed down through word of mouth from priests and priestesses, initiates, and royalty. These teachings were encrypted into the temples themselves, concealed and enshrined behind a veil of hieroglyphs and symbolism. The ancient Egyptian mystery schools originated in Memphis near the Great Pyramid. New initiates of the mystery schools knew that they must undertake rigorous disciplined study, plus training of body, soul, and spirit. They heard from former initiates that to attain mastery of the mysteries, they would undergo a complete reconstructing of their physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual being. The initiates experienced timeless secret teachings that were passed down to them through oral tradition by priests and priestesses, initiates, and also by royalty. These teachings were encrypted into temples, concealed and enshrined behind a veil of allegory and symbolism. But these schools did not just exist in Egypt. The ancient Greeks, the Romans, the Hebrews, and I'll just say it, probably every civilization out there had their own little version or branch of mystery school going on. And I propose that the ancient Sumerians had them as well. Manly P. Hall wrote that through his many years of research among the records of olden people available in libraries, museums, and shrines of ancient cultures, has convinced him that there exists in the world today, and has existed for thousands of years, a body of enlightened humans united in what might be termed an order of the quest. So when did they begin? I want to say it began with Adapa, but the truth is we just don't know the beginning. Adapa is the earliest name that we know of because the Sumerian texts that remain, but I don't know that the earliest civilizations began in Sumer. There is plenty of evidence that the earliest groups of people that constitute a civilization as we know it today are in what is now called Turkey and the surrounding general area. But there most likely are still older ones that we just have not found evidence of yet. Plato talks about the origin of humanity, or what was left of humanity after the last great cataclysm. And he speaks about it saying that the reconstructing of civilization began with the Athenians. The Athenians are said to have come from the area of the Balkans originally. In another video about the origin of language, I said the precursor to the Hellenes were the Phrygians. And I now want to say that that was wrong, in so much as there are even older races than the Phrygians. And I say races because that's the way they call it in the old books, but I want to say they're really kind of like tribes. There were older tribes of people than the Phrygians, one of them being the Pelasgians. One major theory utilizes that the name Pelasgian to describe the inhabitants of the lands surrounding the Aegean Sea before the arrival of the Proto-Greek speakers, as well as traditionally identified enclaves of descendants that still existed in classical Greece. At one point in time, this tribe of people was written off as mythical beings. Like literally, people thought Herodotus was nothing but a stinking liar. I mean, a lot of times Herodotus is out and out called a storyteller instead of a historian. And that continued until they started finding evidence of him. The results of archaeological excavations by James Millart and Fritz Schachelmeier, I think that's how you say his name, led them to conclude that the Pelasgians had migrated from Asia Minor to the Aegean Basin around 4 millennia BC. In this theory, a number of possible non-Indo-European linguistic and cultural features are attributed to the Pelasgians. Now let's introduce another group into the mix. These people are called the Cabieri. They were mystic divinities who occur in various parts of the ancient world. The obscurity that hangs over them and the contradictions respecting them in the accounts of the ancients themselves. The meaning of the name Cabieri is quite uncertain and has been traced to nearly all languages of the East and even those to the North. The character and the nature of the Cabieri are as obscure as the meaning of their name. We do know that the Cabieri seem to originate around Turkey, specifically a place that was once called Samos and is now called Samothracia or Samothrace, depending on where you are. Strabo speaks of the origin of the Cabieri, deriving his statement from ancient authorities, and from him we learn that Cadmulus, a son of Cabiero and Hephaestus, made 3 Cabieri sons and 3 Cabierian nymphs, who were daughters. Herodotus says that the Cabieri were worshipped at Memphis as sons of Hephaestus and that they resembled the Phoenician dwarf gods of the Ptah-Sokar, whom the Phoenicians fixed on the prows of their ships. Herodotus also speaks about the Samthraki as well. States that they have created the 3 greatest works of any of the Hellenes, one being a temple, larger than any other temple that they know of. He also points out that the Egyptian cubit is the same amount as the one that is used for measurement at Samos. And then in another section of his histories, he also states that the Athenians received their phallic Hermes, he's speaking about Hermes, from the Pelasgians. And those who are initiated in the mysteries will understand what I am saying, for the Pelasgians formerly inhabited Samothrace, and it is from them Samothrakians received their orgies. But the Samothrakians had a sacred legend which is explained in their mysteries. He doesn't go on to say what that sacred ritual and legend is, but we now know that Hermes is tied to Samthrakia, is tied to Memphis. If I've heard it, you guys have probably heard before. Some believe that Hermes and Thoth are the same entity. Also, Cadmilos, the son that we spoke of from Hephaestus and Cabiero, was sometimes identified with Cadmos of Thebes. In one myth, the marriage of Cadmos and Harmonia took place on the island of Samthrakia. And during their wedding celebrations, Harmonia's stepbrother, Lycaon, lay with the goddess Demeter and was killed by Zeus. Cadmos then migrated to Thebes and established the Theban mysteries of the great gods after those in Samothraki. According to some, the Titan Prometheus established the mysteries of Thebes, and he was the father of the Cabieri. In this version, Cadmus, the son from Hephaestus, and Prometheus are one and the same. So who has gone to these mystery schools? Well, it seems like all the great thinkers, philosophers of ancient times did, right? Such as Pythagoras, Aristotle, Plato. Said that Isaac Newton went to these, Socrates, Orpheus, Hermes, Thoth. I would also like to add the name Adapa, although I can't really say 100% that he went to these mystery schools, but I want to say that the Ashapu were probably like a mystery school. So what did they teach? Many say that the early mystery schools and mystical traditions appear to center around a kind of mystery play of ritual reenactment of the life of the early gods, such as Osiris, Dionysus, Demeter, divinities most often associated with the underworld, the realm of the dead, and or the process of rebirth. However, it's much deeper than that. These initiates became the doctors, scientists, lawmakers, leaders, philosophers of their day. These teachings were passed down through ritual, prayer, sacrifice, oral mythology, and they were kept very, very secret. But the knowledge that they gained from it, they did go and help society out with. The truest purpose that I can see of the mystery schools was not to give knowledge. As far as I can see, it was your duty to attain the knowledge before you were even initiated. The purpose of these schools was to provide understanding of this knowledge. Maybe it's like this. I can memorize Newton's first law of motion as F equals ma. The net force of an object equals the mass of an object times acceleration. Just because I know the equation and I understand what the letters stand for does not mean I understand the process being described. It wouldn't be until someone says that Newton's first law of motion is when an object at rest remains at rest, unless acted on by an unbalanced force. An object in motion will continue with constant speed and direction unless acted on by an unbalanced force. And even then, I may understand it a bit more, but I still don't have broad understanding. The mystery schools used mythos, logos, rituals, prayer, and intense research. Pythagoras spent 22 years in the temples of Egypt with a powerful Egyptian magi as an initiate into the ancient mysteries, it said. This is after he learned the secret doctrine of numbers, the heliocentric universe, music, astrology, astronomy, mathematics, and geometry. He had all of that as his core before he was even initiated into the schools. According to Porphyry, Pythagoras taught that the 7 muses were actually the 7 planets singing together. Pythagoras was also said to have practiced divination and prophecy, and in visits to various places in Greece, Delos, Sparta, Philus, Crete, and Samos, he usually appeared in either religious garb or as a lawgiver. Plato was a huge fan of both Socrates and Pythagoras. He stated that the mythos was more of a non-verifiable account and the logos was a rational account. And it may seem that Plato, being a disciple of Socrates and a strong partisan of philosophy based on logos, would have avoided the use of myth-telling, but he doesn't. Instead, he made abundant use of it. He considered that only a few people were capable or interested in following a reasoned philosophical discourse, but men in general were attracted to stories and tales. Myths were a way to impart knowledge in a way that people in general were willing to receive. Basically, it's a way to teach about history and lessons on morality through entertainment, or what's perceived as entertainment. In these mystery schools, the rituals were based on a symbolic reading of the story of Demeter and Persephone and provided initiates with a vision of the afterlife so powerful that it changed the way that they saw the world and their place in it. Participants were freed from the fear of death because they recognized after all of this that they were immortal souls in temporary mortal bodies. Are they related to the ones who claim enlightenment today? I have no idea, but if I was going to put money on it, I'd say hell no. What I do know is that in ancient times, you didn't just apply online and pay a fee to get into a mystery school. There are many accounts that half of your life was spent gathering knowledge through great discipline to finally be initiated into a mystery school, and there you would get your broad understanding. My humble opinion, the schools that are out there today that teach about light and love and new age ideas are nothing but imposters. They're gaining popularity and prospering off an ancient sect they probably have little to no understanding of. And in all honesty, I don't even know that the mystery schools truly exist anymore at all. I'm not saying that all that knowledge was lost because most of it was an oral tradition, but I'm guessing. I really don't know. This video is kind of going on for a minute here, and the next part, the part that I really wanted to get to, is going to go on for probably as long as I've already been talking, so I'm going to save that question for the next video. The next video is going to be, are they connected to Masonic orders or nefarious groups of people that are working behind us in the background? And if so, how are they connected? Okay, that's all I really have for today. I hope you guys have yourselves a very great day.